Is there anybody listening? Is there anyone that sees what's going on? Read between the lines, criticize the words they're selling. Think for yourself and feel the...
Good morning. Welcome back to the Trailer Park. I am Chanda-Masta, your Trailer Park Pundit. And yeah, it is YouTube Tuesday. So we got the whole fams here today. I love YouTube Tuesdays because I miss some of you guys when I'm on just Rockfin and Rumble, you know. How's everybody's week going? What a crazy day we had yesterday, right? We saw some shuffling of mainstream media pundits, and yesterday was the great layoff. I didn't bring a lot of reports about it, but we know that Disney had layoffs coming down, Paramount did, a lot of big corporations had kind of put it in the pipeline a couple weeks ago that they were going to say goodbye to a lot of people, and that included some big names, right? We saw CNN dump Don Lemon, and then who should have been fired a long fucking time ago. We'll cover that. It's in the deck, and of course Tucker. And I got all the best memes. I got all of the theories out there, why Tucker got fired, and we're gonna go over all of them. And then, of course, you guys know I got some funny stuff for you guys today, and maybe just kind of odd and weird. And let's see, we're gonna take a look at China's public transportation. Oh my God, it'll blow your mind how good it is compared to ours. Like, what the hell? Yeah, so yeah, we got a good deck. Oz threw a bunch of things on there, and you know that's always fun. That's like a Easter egg hunt. I get to figure out what I'm talking about. Good morning, Kate. I'm sorry you got to take off, but we will miss you. I appreciate you more than I can say, Kate. Ugh, you were a lifesaver last week. I am seeing, and I've talked to a lot of friends in independent media. This has been the worst month for fundraising for independent media, I'd say, in 8 years. Everybody who's independent media is struggling. Everybody. I don't care if you've got 300,000 followers or if you've got 50,000 followers. I mean, it's tax time and we're feeling the hurt of inflation. So every penny you guys gives us just keeps us going, keeps us in the game. We appreciate it more than I can say. You know, I was over at United Spot the other day and they even had a video up saying help, you know. I get it. It's hard. It's so tough right now, but I'm not in it for the money, and I'm in it to tell you guys the truth. That is the bottom fucking line. So if I got to keep eating oatmeal and pancakes, I will do it. I will do it. I'm not going back in to the mainstream system to make myself unhappy just so I can buy materialistic crap that I don't fucking need that's poisoning me. And that's what I keep telling myself. I'm just like, oh God, this is, you know, do I have to go back into the workforce? No, I don't. You just got to suck it up and, you know, do what's right. Everyone's over at TPP. Of course, the TPP. Thanks. Yeah, I know. Isn't it weird? I fought the TPP for years and now I am the TPP. Conspiracy. Maybe I'm CIA. No, if I was CIA, I'd have fucking money at least, right? Good morning, Popeye. Popeye, you live down by Yosemite? Is that what I was reading? I think I read that. DC. You were in Philly? I knew I loved you. Of course. Yeah. I had a video of my partner standing behind me in DC, recording when the anarchists cut the gates to the DNC's little coronation for Hillary Clinton. Those gates swung open. I had the full freaking video. Shit was flying. It was crazy. They charged us with lines and lines of cops. And as soon as I came out of that crowd, I was like, oh my God, I got to get this downloaded. I got to get it moved. The people need to see what's happening here in Philadelphia. Before I even got back to our Occupy camp, that video was gone off my phone. And I watched it. I watched it after I recorded it. So yeah, they have Stingrays. They have the abilities to get in your phone, take whatever you want. And like Steve always says over at AM Wake Up, yeah, the cloud is not someplace out in nowhere. It's somebody else's fucking computer. It's the NSA's computer. And we know that. So yeah, it's sad, but it happens. Good crowd this morning. Hi, Jilly. Good morning, Jilly. Jilly, thanks for all the stuff you send me. I think I got a few things on the deck that you sent me that are funny. Gamer. Hey, Gamer. How's it going? Yep, Tucker got fired. For sure. For sure. You're going to Folsom. I love me some Johnny Cash. Trying to catch up real fast. Who's in here? Who's in here? Share this out, guys. People don't know I'm live in the morning. I don't know how that is, but hey, Fred. Fred Edwards hanging out. Hi, Fred. Damn issue with riding to my dentist. Oh God, going to the dentist today. You guys are so awesome. You guys tune in when you're out on the road and doing stuff. I appreciate it. I crashed out in the lawn for the Occupy camp. Yes, I was in the lawn too, DC. Actually, I was in Jersey at a campground with our whole crew that it came in because we were the Journey for Bernie. But then after the first day of them effing with us, we decided to screw it. Let's just pack up our shit and just cut our losses because we had paid a lot of money to be at that Parvin campground, pay whatever it was, which was terrible. And so, yeah, we just drug all of our camp gear right into FDR Park and said, F it. I took a shower in a hose with Jimmy Dore standing right next to me. It was a great, great week. Rob Juno, good morning, Rob. How is everybody this morning? Well, we got a lot of crazy shit to talk about, so I guess we'll just get there. We'll quit BSing. Let me know if my sound's okay today. You guys are my tech out there. You know that. Fair use, fair use. Everything I talk about, I am commentating on. It is my opinion. Please go out there and do your own research. And guess what, guys? The truth is out there. They're not hiding it from you. They just know you won't go look for it. So, yeah, go look for it. They're not even hiding it. You can help me out by buying me a coffee. buymeacoffee.com/trailer park. And yeah, I don't mind if you call me Trailer Park because that's where I live. That's who I am. And of course, PayPal's. We love PayPal's because it's like Christmas, because it's instant and you don't have to wait a month for somebody to sit on your money and take it. So we appreciate them. Yeah, we know PayPal's not the best company in the world, but we also know none of them are. So doing our best while we can. Audio's fine. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Crone, you made it. I brought that clip that you sent me, Crone. So you'll have to explain to me who that is when we get there. Crone of Heresy, of course, in the chat. Of course, on Saturdays, I call him Crone of Hershey because that's what my eye can see from that far. You guys know I'm blind. Okay, so let me get the right mouse. I got two mice, so it's hard. Okay, let's get started with this day in history. Not a lot of history today, but some of these are interesting. 1792, the first guillotine was erected on the Place de Grève in Paris to execute a highwayman. Okay, so there you go. The first guillotine was built 1792. Boy, we've come a long way. 1908, Edward R. Murrow, a radio and television broadcaster who was the most influential and esteemed figure in American broadcast journalism during its formative years, was born in North Carolina. You think he's rolling over in his grave? I kind of think so. The likes of people who have Edward R. Murrow reporting awards, yeah, I would say. And of course, never to be forgotten, the Flint water crisis was a public health crisis that started in 2014 after drinking water from the city of Flint, Michigan was contaminated and, yeah, possible full of lead and other bacteria. So here we are, almost 10 years later, and they still don't have drinkable water in Flint. We know. Yeah, Houston still has dirty water. We have terrible water all over this country. We have communities that don't even have water, and we don't even talk about it. Go in Arizona. Arizona's outlying communities of Scottsdale. They're shutting the water off to them. Oh, sorry. You got 30 people living in your town. Well, we're just going to cut you off because we need the water for our municipal area is basically what they're doing. It's happening from coast to coast. And yeah, the mainstream media never fucking talks about it. Why? Who owns part of them? Nestle? I mean, water companies? We know this. We know it's all corrupt. So sadly, yeah, Flint. Okay, let's get started with Tucker. I brought the best memes first. So I like this one where he's like, yeah, there was some pretty bad ones I didn't bring though, because we are on YouTube this morning. I'm trying to behave. And yeah, Fox decided to shoot itself in the foot and get rid of the only person that anybody's actually watching on Fox. Now, I have grown a little bit more fond of Tucker in the last few years. I will admit that because he's allowed voices like Jimmy Dore to come on and, so many in our space. I don't call it the progressive space anymore because I don't subscribe to those labels any longer. I'm awake, man. I know what the hell is going on, and I don't buy red or blue. But yeah, Tucker was saying a lot of dangerous stuff lately. He has been against the Iraq war. He's been calling out a lot of the corruption for what it is. People think that he's a big Trump lover, but I've seen him actually call Trump out a few times. But there's a few other things that they're citing as why this happens. So let's see. Tucker Carlson and Fox News parts ways. Yes, we do that. Immediately, Fox's stock started tanking. Oh, too bad. And let's see. Wow, this is how Tucker ended his very last show last Friday. He said, I'll see you on Monday. He had absolutely no idea he was getting dumped by Fox. Just let that sink in. And then rejoice for truth and democracy. Oh, yay. Yeah, I mean, do you think they just blindsided him that he had no clue? I mean, he's been pushing the envelope hard the last couple of weeks. And I hear that he had planned on having Oliver Stone on to talk to him. And we all know how much of a fucking, realist that Oliver Stone is. So that on top of having the Democratic nominee on Tuesday, RFK Jr., I was shocked when I sent it. When I saw it, I sent it to Oz and I said, what fucking reality are we in where the Democratic nominee is being featured at prime time on Fox on the day of his announcement and not on any of the DNC channels? And yeah, that's just one of the things he did. But a lot of people want to say that it's about this lawsuit that was with, I don't even want to say that word on YouTube, because it seems like if you say that D word on YouTube, next thing you know, you're getting smacked around. So yeah, U.S. TV host Tucker Carlson to leave Fox News days after broadcasters paid $787.5 million to settle a case with Dominion. Maybe if I say it that way, they won't catch it. Yeah, with Dominion, right? Well, I don't know, because when I heard that, I was like, okay, maybe that was part of it. Maybe that was their excuse, right? You just cost us a shit ton of money. But a lot of people are like, no, 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 because it's the same owner. What? So let's see. Murdoch coup. Rupert's son James tells dad to sell Fox News after Tucker's firing. $787 million Dominion settlement. I do hear that Murdoch's kids have a pretty big pull with him. Like they're in his ear and he listens. Oz put this one up for me. You can tell by the cute little Oz avatar. Let's see. Two of Rupert Murdoch's children, Elizabeth and James, have privately told their dad the family should dump their prize news asset, Radar Online, has exclusively learned. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's what Murdoch's known for, but I like this one here on the bottom. It says BlackRock owns 59.M shares of Dominion million. BlackRock owns 45.7 million shares of Fox. BlackRock sued itself and fired Tucker Carlson as a part of that lawsuit. Figure it out yet? And from what I hear, because they won that lawsuit against themselves, they get to write that all off. That 700 million, almost 800 million, they'll get to write off in the lawsuit. So, boy, wasn't that convenient? Because I had a lot of people tell me yesterday, no, it's not the lawsuit. Once you look into the lawsuit, yeah, I don't think it's a lawsuit either. Oh, Oz, I got to put my glasses on for this one. Okay. So these are from Oz. I love the cosmonaut Tucker. I would love to see that. I totally would be down for cosmonaut Tucker, but I don't see that happening. So Fox told Tucker Carlson lawyers he was fired with cause related to the ex-producer's lawsuit, which claims sexism, anti-Semitism, and harassment. Radar Online has learned. The with cause label means that the company will likely seek to avoid severance payment to Carlson. Most executive contracts contain language, what is that? Splipulating. I think maybe a part of it was cut off. Different scenarios of how their separation from the company would be treated financially. Oh, he's got a contract where it says if you break the contract beforehand, then you got to pay him, blah, blah, blah. These contracts are 50 freaking pages long and they weasel all kinds of shit into them. So Fox has a history of paying out its talent executives, for example, including Bill O'Reilly and Roger Allies. How much did they give Bill O'Reilly when they kicked him out? If Tucker fights, which everyone expects he will, Fox will dig in. There will be no scenario under the sun in which he gets a massive windfall against the backdrop of the sexism, anti-Semitism, and harassment. They can't reward that kind of behavior. Fox has learned its lesson from scandals in the past. Carlson has yet indicated he will contest with the with cause claim. So will he contest it? I didn't know that, Oz. This was a great, thank you, Oz. That was a great little slide. I honestly did not know any of that. I would expect he has a big ass contract, and I would expect that he's probably in talks with attorneys right now. Is it worth it? Should I take them on? Of course, we know this would be drawn out into a 2 or 3 year fight. And when you look at Tucker's net worth, which I haven't looked at, let's look at it real fast. Maybe he doesn't even need this BS. Maybe he'll just walk away. I know if I had money in the bank, I would just cut my losses, right? Net worth of Tucker. Tucker's net worth is, of course, Bing says he's worth, no. Don't they have to tell you in the like little, what do they call it? They say he's worth 30 million. Tucker is worth at least 30 million. He is set to earn and inherit more later in life. Oh, he's one of those Nepo babies. He's going to get a bunch of money from his family, which is a magic formula for compelling both supporters and critics to watch the news. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that DC says 30 million. Do you think that he'll just say F it and he'll just go start an independent news channel? Or will he, will he be like us? Will he be on Rumble? Will he be on Rockfin for free? Or will he start his own thing, his own network, his own, website where everybody can go? I don't know. But I know that people will go with him if he goes. So Fox should be worried about that. Shit, all of them should be worried about that. So, we saw that podcast, and I didn't bring it, of Tucker, where he was dropping some serious truths and talking about how he should have known better, how he should have asked better questions, how he should have been listening instead of criticizing and calling people conspiracy theorists. Somebody red pilled his ass hardcore is what happened. And he's already did that. He owns the Daily Caller. He does. Oh, I did not know that. Tucker Carlson owns the Daily Caller. Not that I'm a huge Daily Caller fan. It's crazy that RFK Jr. kids kill Russians for BlackRock in the Ukraine, and he thinks Iraq and Libya were humanitarian. Chilling, I know. And that and his fucking stance on net zero has got me big time. And we'll talk about it. I think I got some on the deck. So let's see. Oh, I guess I had this on the deck twice. BlackRock owns 5.9 million shares of Dominion, blah, blah, blah. Look at all of these goddamn entities that BlackRock owns. BlackRock owns the world, guys. We know it. We say it all the time. What do they have? Share in Amazon? Why is Amazon on there? I believe that. Verizon, Dow Chemical. Yeah, these are all the same usual suspects. Let's see. Pfizer. Oh, CNN. Imagine that. CNN, Fox, MSNBC. They're all owned by BlackRock at some point. Oh my God, we live in a fucking cartoon. Time Warner. Yeah, they're on there too. Kellogg, Brown and Root. Oh, that's shocking, isn't it? If you don't know who KBR is, they used to be a subsidiary of Halliburton, but since we're changing names and trying to mask who we are, they are now under the BlackRock banner. Imagine that. Tucker founded the Daily Caller in 2009. Thanks, DC. Did not know that. I don't know if I've actually watched a lot of Daily Caller, or I'm sure I brought Daily Caller before, but my allergies drive me crazy. I took one of these stupid little allergy pills, but they're not helping. That's the downside of being a recovering opiate addict. You always have nasal drip. I think people with alcoholism have the same issue. It's because it breaks your histamines, and so your histamines are always running. Okay, let's talk about CIA Sandy, because, man, she's been right in the middle of this whole fucking brouhaha, and it started within the 24 hours of Tucker getting fired. 24 hours earlier, she was talking with her friend Jen Sake. And yeah, she says that Tucker's violent and he needs to go. And guess what? She got her wish. He's gone.
Federal regulation in terms of what's allowed on air and what isn't. And when you look at what Tucker Carlson and some of these other folks on Fox do, it is very, very clearly incitement of violence. Very clearly incitement of violence. And
very clearly.
That is the line that I think we have to be willing to contend with.
This woman and her words are violence is just maddening. It's maddening. You know, if the last 48 hours didn't smack you in the face that she's a CIA asset, I don't know what will. I really don't, because as soon as that the thing dropped yesterday saying Tucker was gone, well, she just couldn't wait to get online and gloat like a fucking 14-year-old girl. So check it out. This is how mature our fucking politics are.
Tucker Carlson is out at Fox News. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. What I will say, though, is while I'm very glad that the person that was arguably responsible for some of the largest, driving some of the most amounts of death threats and violent threats, not just to my office, but to plenty of people across the country, I also kind of feel like I'm like waiting for the cutscene at the end of a Marvel movie after all the credits have rolled. And then you see like the villain's like hand reemerge out to grip over like the end of a building or something. But deplatforming works, and it is important. And there you go. Good things can happen.
So there you go. AOC says that, you know, good things can happen if you get deplatformed. I'm sure she wouldn't like it if she was deplatformed, but that will never happen because she's CIA, Sandy. And she said something else on there that I was going to comment on. Trying to remember. What was it? Dang it. I hate when I have a thought in my head and it's gone 2 seconds later. But the squad is capitalistic, brainwashed zombies. And that is all I could think yesterday. They are. Have you ever seen those zombie bees or zombie ants where they have their whole guts ate out and they're still crawling because their brain's still intact? I mean, that is exactly what the fucking squad is. They have been completely gutted. Anything you thought was progressive about them is completely 100% co-opted and gone over the last couple of years. That, you know, all they do is go out there and puppet and parrot the mainstream talking points that the establishment wants out there. And we've seen it over and over from these guys. I mean, AOC thinks that this is such violence, and how many death threats? That's what it was. How many death threats go out because of her cronies and the things that they get upset about? Oh, it's only Tucker's little cronies that are doing death threats across the country, but not hers at all, because she doesn't have any of those. Bullshit. It comes with the territory. It's hypocritical. She's pro censorship. She's so terrible. God. And there's still people out there that just love her. So I had a one from a couple of years ago on the deck. I took it off, but it was AOC talking about how they were winning the Green New Deal. And, you know, I took some notes on the Green New Deal the other day. What did I do with them? Because it's effing shocking. I mean, they want 90% of travel shut down by 2050. 90%. That means you're not leaving your district. You're not leaving your 15-minute city at all. What did I do with all those? Net zero by 2050. Not with a new clean energy source. We're not going to get there unless we come up with a new clean energy source, which we absolutely have not done. All flying has to stop by 2030. In order for us to hit net zero by 2050, all flights have to stop by 2030. And they know it. So they're just going to outprice us from being able to fly, outprice us from being able to move out of our area to travel. No more road travel. You'd have to remove 60% of traffic by 2050. So 60% of all vehicles on the road have to go to hit net zero by 2050. And they want absolutely no new petro vehicles by 2030. What does that look like for you when in 7 years you can't get a car to buy to go to work? What does that look like? What does that look like for the poor? Yeah, I'm all on board for a Green New Deal. I was out there campaigning and I was pushing. I live in one of the most beautiful places in the fucking world. I live in the Olympic Peninsulas where the mountains meet the sea. It needs protected. It's the last of our old growth on the West Coast. And the Navy's completely co-opted it, taken it. Our fucking representative, Derek Kilmer, has completely sold off the Olympic Peninsula to the goddamn military. We are nothing but military bases and electromagnetic training warfare zone. That's exactly what we've been for 10 years now. There isn't a given day where I don't hear growlers going over us. I don't hear the big jets coming from Woodby Island. I mean, it's so terrible. It is so terrible. And yes, I want to save our environment, but who's polluting our environment? It's the military industrial complex. It is the corporations. It is not my neighbor, John, who's trying to get to fucking work. And they're going to make us pay for it. So the more we scream Green New Deal, the more we are just fucking ourselves. And that's the way I see it. I see the same thing with healthcare too. Yeah, I want universal healthcare for everybody. I want everybody to be able to go to the doctor and ask, for help. But that's not what you get when you get anything from the Democrats or the Republicans or from our government. So let's hear about Sandy and how tough she has it.
So you have developed this reputation. I don't know if you like this or not. As a firebrand, what do people get wrong about you or not know about you?
I think very often when I meet
Love the
with
porn music.
colleagues or individuals that I had not met with before, they are surprised that I do my homework a lot. I know when I had my first hearing.
Are you a little nerdy and people don't know this?
Oh, no, absolutely, a little. No, I think, it's like when I had my first hearing with Michael Cohen, people were surprised
Mickey!
that I tried to ask substantive questions, but I think that there is this idea that you somehow can't both be an effective communicator and discuss and challenge the bounds of our political imagination on substantive grounds. And I think we can do both, and I think we should do both.
So I know you're not going to talk about 10 to 15 years from now. I don't know what I'm doing 10 to 15 years from now, but in 5 years, are you going to be in Congress?
I mean,
I'll be a lobbyist for BlackRock.
Maybe. I think I've always tried to
Maybe
approach
Vanguard.
my service in a way of what really I think would be best for people. And if it would be best for me to continue my service, then I will. If it's best for me to continue my service in a different form, then I hope to do that
Like
as
in
well.
the Senate. So if you were not in Congress, because you're passionate about a lot of things, what would you be doing?
Bartending.
Before I ever even thought about being in Congress, I've always been passionate about teaching and writing. And so maybe I would have been a teacher.
No.
That was from Turncoat Dawn. That was hilarious. It was funny, but oh my gosh, where will you be in 5 years or 10 years? We know where she'll be. She'll be a lobbyist for somebody making money, but honestly, I think she's been tapped to be the next Nancy Pelosi. So that's where she'll be. She'll still be in there. Yeah, it got groovier and funkier. I can dig it. Right. Yeah, Turncoat Dawn, I think, it's Dawn, right? He put it up and said, oh, this needed some 70s porn music in the background. I was watching Redacted, the other Redacted, not Lily Camp Redacted, but the other one. And they brought this point up yesterday, and I thought it wasn't a good point. They brought the clips of Phil Donahue when he had got fired from talking about the Afghan war back in 2022 or 2002. So this year was 2002. Phil Donahue had by far the top rated show on MSNBC. His regular guests included Scott Ritter and Dennis Kucinich, who told the viewers that the Iraq War narrative was bullshit, and the New York Post, was even a fan. His show was canceled a year later. Now, I grew up with Donahue. I know you guys did too. I'd come home from school in the 80s and Donahue was on at 4 o'clock, getting people riled up. He would have goth kids on, or he'd be telling stories, and he was respected, right? I mean, we still respected him, even though he was doing a mid-afternoon, like Oprah type talk show. And you remember Oprah came in and gave him a run for his money in the 80s. He still was telling truths. And yeah, I mean, we screamed, we yelled when they did that, but yeah, they got away with it. And I find this a little bit similar. I do. If you're anti-war and you're telling a narrative that they don't want, then they just get rid of you. And that's exactly what they did to Tucker. I mean, you could say it's his anti-war rhetoric. You could say it's his the Pfizer, big pharma rhetoric. It doesn't matter. They're all owned by the same companies, right? So I found it very similar. I kind of miss Donahue, right? He looked just like my grandpa. He wore the same glasses as my grandpa. I always just had this nice warm feeling towards Donahue. But at least they didn't Ed Schultz's ass, right? We all know what happened to Ed Schultz. I do. Go watch the CIA testimony about their heart attack gun. Some could say that happened to Scalia too. My conspiracy. Mine alone. I can keep it all I want. Okay, let's talk about Don Lemon. I've been reporting to you guys for years now that Don Lemon was a total POS. The guy has had a couple of sexual assault type run-ins with a man. I broke it down for you like 6 months ago, maybe a year, where he was in a restaurant and he grabbed some man by his genitals and was saying some pretty nasty crap to him. And when the guy freaked out, there was an altercation. And of course, it was politically driven and it wasn't his fault and blah, blah, blah. I think Don Lemon has been a spoiled predator class for too long, maybe 17 years, and is out of touch with reality. So, but they didn't even bother to give him a heads up or even talk to him in person, right? Tucker probably showed up for work and they were like, yeah, no, you're gone. Don Lemon, no, they just called his manager and said he's out. Yes, RNP, rest in peace, Big Ed Schultz. I agree. So heartbreaking when he went, so heartbreaking. It was such a sad day. So Don Lemon, I was informed this morning by my agent that I have been terminated by CNN. I'm stunned. After 17 years of CNN, I would have thought that someone in management would have had the decency to tell me directly. At no time was I ever given any indecision that I would not be able to continue to do the work I have loved at the network. It is clear that there are some larger issues at play. With that said, I want to thank my colleagues and my team I have worked with for an incredible run. They are the most talented journalists in the business, and I wish them all the best. Yeah, the most talented repeat artists in the business is what they are, right? Bye. What is the issues? He says, oh, there clearly is some issues. Okay, well, yeah, there's a lot of issues with Don Lemon, but why do you guys think they got rid of him? What was his reason? I mean, I think we got a pretty good grasp of why they got rid of Tucker. Don Lemon, they were just waiting to get rid of him and then it was layoff days, so they did? I don't know. You guys give me your opinion. He should have been fired a long time ago for all of his assault allegations, in my opinion. But CNN's so woke. Such a pussy whiner. Jilly, so funny. Speaking of net zero in your carbon footprint, I thought this was a crazy little chart. Look at one nut is 0.04 carbon footprint. Look at you healthy eaters, what you're doing to our freaking environment. Oh my gosh, rice 2.1. Beans, 1.4. Tomatoes, 1.4. We can cure this, guys. Just quit fucking eating. Just don't eat ever again. And then, of course, you got turkey, beef, and lamb at the bottom with the biggest, right? I got news for you. Nobody's going to be eating beef probably in the next 10 years. I mean, they're already phasing it out. They're already outpricing it. Hell, I can't afford, a big old steak or something like that. They're just going to make it unobtainable for us poors. us useless eaters, as they like to refer to us. And the Atlantic, of course, always great journalism coming from those assholes. Follow your gut isn't the right way to go. The experts have had a rough year. We still have to crush them. So yeah, don't follow your gut. This was the stupidest article I've ever seen. I did read it and it said some stupid shit like, don't trust yourself, don't believe yourself. There's so much disinformation that don't go with your gut. Don't go with your gut. Listen to the experts. So yeah, listen to the experts. Hey Natalie, good to see you. Marby Dog's in the house. Hi Marby. You guys are filing in. Jim. Hi Jim. I see you, Jim. Who else stopped in? Of course, Rob Juno's here. Thank you guys for Go Start. Hi, Go Start. I try to say hi as you guys come in and I see it. Sometimes I don't see it. We got anybody hanging out on the Rumble? Sometimes we have a big Rumble. Sometimes we have no Rumble. Today we have no Rumble. That's okay. Let's see. System update. I had to bring you guys some Glenn Greenwald because, he was one of those that kept popping up on Tucker and might have contributed to getting him booted out the door. But Glenn has done some amazing work. People like Glenn and Jimmy Dore and those people, those voices will no longer have a place on mainstream media, right? That's why we supported Tucker. It's not because we like Tucker. Fuck, I used to tear Tucker down every day. You probably go find shows of me tearing Tucker down. I know I make fun of his looks on some shows, but because he was allowing those voices on Fox, yeah, Glenn has been on a roll. I will give you that, DC. Because he allowed those voices on Fox, we actually changed Tucker's mind on a lot of positions. On a few positions, I know on Julian Assange. I absolutely believe that Jimmy Dore coming on and advocating for Assange on Fox News is what really helped push Tucker to the right, the right side of that Julian Assange is being persecuted. And I'm glad that he sees it now. So kudos to people like Glenn Greenwald and Jimmy Dore who had the balls to go on, opposing media and tell the truth.
Why is Mehdi Hassan so eager to malign reporting and reporters which expose the CIA, the FBI, and Homeland Security?
Because that's their job. That's why I think it's wrong to describe them as a left. Their purpose is, there's basically three purposes. Purpose number one of this woke left, this MSNBC left, is to provide a new base for the Democratic Party. Yep. Large numbers of white workers, which used to be the base of the Democratic Party, have exited or have been, in effect, asked to leave. So there is a vacuum there. And the vacuum has to be filled. A party needs a base. It's not just who votes on election day. It needs a mobilized, galvanized, committed base. So identity politics has to fill, has been conscripted to fill that void, that vacuum. You're too young to remember. I have to keep repeating that because
keep saying that. That's important.
He's like,
things changed very significantly. You go back and listen 1984 to Mario Cuomo's keynote address at the Democratic Party convention. It was all about supporting the working class. And it was attacking the Republican Party for being the party of the rich. And we, the Democratic Party, are the party of the working class. You go look, I sat down and I listened to the nights, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. It was either 4 nights or 5 nights, I think 4 nights, of the Democratic Convention. The working class was barely mentioned. It was literally barely mentioned. There was one tiny segment devoted to 4 workers, and at Channel 13, it was cut. They cut it. So to fill the void in the Democratic Party. Number 2, to create a juggernaut to stop a class struggle mobilization from below, like Bernie Sanders. That's their job, to stop it. And number 3, the purpose of woke politics is to give a veneer, a patina of being progressive to being cutting edge. while at the same time not making any sacrifices. What does it take for people in Martha's Vineyard to be woke? Do they pay a price? Do they have to give up any of their wealth? There's no sacrifice nowadays to these woke politics. You know, if you go back and you look at the history of the left, people are killed for being on the left. They're in jail for being on the left. That's what it meant to be a person of the left. It meant making real material and mortal sacrifice for a cause. What does it mean now? You go and look at the Judith Butler. In 2020, there's a big announcement. Judith Butler's doing something world historic, right up there with the Paris Commune, the Bolshevik Revolution, the Spanish Civil War. What does she do? She announces that her new pronouns are they, them. Her new pronouns are they, them. Oh, that's a real act of martyrdom. That's Christ being nailed to the cross. It's so laughable what passes now for radical politics. Radical politics is raking in tons and tons and tons of cash. That's radical politics. Ibram X. Kendi gets $10 million from Jack Dorsey. Barack Obama gets $100 million from Jeff Bezos. Van Jones gets $100 million from Jeff Bezos.
Fuck Van
The
Jones.
Black Lives Matter so-called leadership, they collected $90 million in the year of the George Floyd demonstrations. None of the activists saw one dime of it, but Patrice Cullors, one of the so-called leaders, she goes out and purchases 4 homes. Another of the leaders starts doing commercials for Cadillac. This is a bonanza. This is a bonanza. This is not sacrifice. This is not what the left used to stand for. It's just making money, grifters. There are grifters making money off of the cause on the one hand, and then there are all these fake radical people pretending they are so cutting edge and so woke because they changed their pronouns or they drool over trans people.
Some people would take that wrong, but I don't take it wrong because he's absolutely right. You know, who will replenish the Democratic Party, right? In 2016 and in 2020, it was us, Bernie Cogs. We came in, and I have a Democratic Central Committee. We have the only headquarters in Western Washington in my little town, which is weird because it is in the middle of nowhere and it is super funded. And we went inside there. Of course, I'm a retirement community, so nobody working in the office was under the age of 60, I would say, 65 maybe. I was the youngest person, basically, that was working inside my Democratic Party locally. And none of them had a clue of even how to turn the one computer on that was at the headquarters, let alone how to do data input into the VPN, which as a candidate, if you come into the Democratic Party as a declared Dem, you're supposed to have access to all of those voter roll informations, all of the DNC donor information. But because they haven't updated that shit, they didn't even update it. It hadn't been updated since Obama 2012. When we got there in 2016, they didn't have shit for data for canvassing, right? I mean, you were just blankly out there canvassing. If you got the rolls from your local auditor's office, of course, they don't separate the Republicans from the Democrats, so you're just crap shooting. And what did they do? They used us. They used the Bernie progressives to set up their new infrastructure, their new communications. So they've got a whole bunch of new apps, right? We saw these apps. So now You can go out, anybody can sign up to canvass for the Democratic Party, and you just vote. You just log into their little app, and they're literally sucking all your information, who you're talking to, where you're going. And yeah, thank you, progressives, for doing that for the Democratic Party. Just like the fact that Bernie Sanders' email list of, I can't even remember, what was it, something like 80 million fucking people ultimately ended up on Bernie Sanders' email list that got turned over to the DNC. We saw the fight right after the election in 2016. I'm not going to turn over my email list to the Democratic Party. Bullshit. They already had it, Bernie. And we knew that because they kept hacking our campaign in 2016. February 2016, they hacked the Bernie Sanders side of the campaign, and then they cry and say we hacked them, which was, the porthole was open. It was their mistake, and we never even went in there and messed with their shit, right? But the NSA was all over in our shit. We saw this over and over. And sadly, a lot of the energy I went into the Democratic Party with figured it out, and they left, right? A lot of them gone independent, a lot of them gone third party, a lot of them thrown their hands in the air and said, I'm done with electoral politics. But that doesn't mean that there isn't a fresh batch of fresh-faced young college kids that are impressionable, who have been lied to their whole lives and are being lied to by the media, that are not going to go into that Democratic Party and refund it, to refuel it, to keep it moving, right? That's how that zombie DNC stays alive. It sucks the blood of young. And that's what they'll do again in 2016. And, they'll lie to the sunset move or the sunrise movement, and they'll tell them that they're all about a Green New Deal and they're going to help the environment and we're going to get you funding for education. But they don't do that. They never, at the end of the day, pay off. And I wish that those still working inside those entities actually saw that. So that was a great clip. Love it. You know what? We got a birthday in the house. It is Jim's birthday. Happy birthday, Jim. Happy 60 years young. It's a feat to make it, that far. I'm proud of myself that I'm almost 50. Like, I lived through so much. Oh my God, I should have died a billion times and I'm still here. So I'm going to keep fighting. And I think everybody feels that way as you get older, or you should. You should. It is an honor to get another year, right? So happy birthday, Jim. I hope you have a great day. Let's see. New York Governor Holcomb appoints a Chevron lawyer to the state's highest court. Kathy Holcomb represents the oil giants in its vindictive legal campaign against the environmentalist lawyer Stephen Donziger. Yeah, and Donziger says a lot of shit I don't agree with. I'll tell you that for sure. And you would think, after what they've done to him, he would get it. Like, I just want to shake him. Like, obviously your detention, you didn't learn anything. So are we shocked? No, we are not shocked. We've been telling you over and over that Kathy Hochul is a corporate piece of crap. Speaking of the Dems, just when the Dem debates would have been interesting, DNC says there will be no debates. And JFK Jr. responds to DNC's plan to skip the primary debates. The system is indeed rigged. Well, if you know the system is indeed rigged, what the hell are you doing in it? And of course, Mariana Williamson thinks this is just fine. This is fine. This is fine. I wasn't going to get on the debate stage anyway, so it's not a big deal. Are we shocked? Are we shocked? I think this kind of tells us one thing, and that is that they're planning on running Biden. Is that what that means? I mean, we know they wanted to do away with the debates last time around, and they kind of couldn't, right? They cut them down to, didn't we only have 1 or 2 debates last time compared to what we had in 2016, which 2016 schedule was terrible as it was. We've got the exit polls always being wonkied with. I mean, this is going to be fun, guys. This is going to be fun. But if that doesn't tell you that they are a charter privately owned and controlled by themselves, I don't know what will. I mean, we saw the DNC lawsuit from Nico House and Jared and Elizabeth Beck prove to us that they can do whatever the hell they want. They don't have to play within their own rules, even though they have charter rules and they have, Robert's rules that they go by. They don't have to go by that. They just absolutely don't. And we know that. And obviously they're not going to. So it's going to be fun. Adam Schiff will not go away. Can I tell you? Adam Schiff has been in my newsfeed and in my emails begging for money. He must be scared. That's what I deduce from the amount of emails and tweets I'm seeing from him. So Adam wants you to know I'm still the GOP's boogeyman. McCarthy removed me from the intel community, and Gates, Carlson, and Trump piled on quickly with their attacks. Why? Because I called out their lies. They don't want me in the Senate, but I'm not one to give up a fight. Do I have your support? Give me money. This is my AdBlue link. And that special moment when the gerbils start nibbling on your prostate. That's terrible, but it's funny. Come on. It's funny. Hey, Dirty Dollars. Welcome. Let's see. Oh, I brought you guys a funny. You know, I didn't bring one United spot on Saturday. Did you guys notice? I don't think anybody noticed. Hey, Lizzie, what's up? Amber King's in the house. Good morning, Miss Amber. How are you? Here's a little funny for you guys. This is hilarious. So this is we've been following this series, of course. So this is, I think, part 3.
Previously on Liars Brothers.
You dated a spy! I mean, you sold secrets to other countries! You're a liar!
Kevin better not get in my face, because I'll drop that mother.
Look, guys, I know you're upset.
Kevin, you haven't seen upset.
Yeah!
I did what I did for the sake of America. You two can't be trusted. And that's why, until further notice, you're both suspended from Twitter.
No!
I'm sorry.
You can't do this!
Kevin, I know I lied about Russian collusion. I know I lied about the transcript. I know I lied about the whistleblower.
And I know I dated a spy, and I lied too, but I've changed.
So have I!
I'm sorry, guys.
Kevin, you already took us off the Intelligence Committee. Don't take us off Twitter, too.
Yeah, Kevin. Twitter's the only place I have left to spread false information.
Yeah, how am I gonna lie now?
Damn it, Kevin, you can't do this! I can do this, and I'm going to do this. It's done. That's it. I'm selling my Google stocks.
You're going down, Kevin. I'm so serious.
Yeah, Kevin, you're gonna regret this.
I'm the House Speaker now. Deal with it. Damn it, Kevin. Give me that hammer else.
What are we gonna do now, Adam?
Don't worry. I'll figure something out.
Attention, everyone.
You're probably wondering why we gathered you all here today.
Hey, Kevin, you want me to shut this down?
Ah, that's not necessary. I'm actually kind of curious on what these bozos have to say.
As you know, me and Eric have been taken off the Intelligence Committee.
And we were also suspended from Twitter.
So to win back your trust, we started our own Intelligence Committee on TikTok.
And we're calling it Information Worldwide.
Information worldwide, wide.
Protecting ourselves before America.
Hiring whistleblowers and lying about collusion.
Selling secrets to foreign lands.
And all we need is some money to get started.
Investors?
Possibly you.
Coming up next on Liar Brothers.
You're next, Eric.
Okay.
Stop it, Kevin! You're gonna have to learn to respect me!
United Spot. They do some funny stuff. And yeah, that's kind of continuum of, a spoof they've been doing for a while. Did you guys see this video of Angela Merkel in Berlin with Zelensky? Where she is shaking like I won't even say. Check it out. This is crazy. I'll play it one more time just so you can see. Look at her shake. Is it windy? Is it cold? Is it nerves? Is it something else? You guys give me your best. I can't say what I think it is, right? Have you ever seen those documentaries on cannibalism where they say that you get shakes really bad, like it's a part of the withdrawal from cannibalism? I'm not saying that's what's going on. I'm asking if you've ever heard that story, but I can tell you guys, I've actually had this happen to me, and I don't have any of that. One time we were out, where were we? We were in front of CNN. We were in front of CNN in DC, and it was March, so it was like 30 degrees outside. It was freezing, and we were giving speeches, and we had marched for like an hour and a half, so I was frozen to the bone. I was just chilled. And then when you throw nerves on top of that, because I get nerves anytime I got to go speak in front of a huge crowd or do an interview in front of a huge crowd. I'm fighting nerves because this isn't what I planned or trained for in my life. You know, I got thrown in it at 40 years old and I'm trying to navigate it the best I am. And my nervous system's a little fried from all my drug use from past. And so I was shaking so bad that I could not hold the bullhorn. Pasta literally had to hold the bullhorn for me. And I as much as I tried to fight it, I couldn't tell if it was nerves, if it was cold. But a lot of people are saying that maybe she has something else, maybe like Parkinson's or that A word withdrawal. You guys know the word. Jilly, you know the word. You can go ahead and put, she's got a vibrator. Somebody's got a remote control vibrator on her. That's terrible. You guys are the worst. You make me laugh. Now this is True Stream. Melissa Drake. This dropped on Friday. Amazing 2.5 hour rant. I have loved their work since Batshittery at the DNC. Never heard that word, Shanda. Yeah, you guys know. You guys know the A word, right? The one Hillary's accused of drinking all the time. Yeah. Comes from children. Yeah, you guys know what it is. Anyways, so Melissa Drake, she says things are getting weird. Doesn't it seem like things are weird? And you guys go check out this video. I brought a 2-minute clip from it, but it is 2.5 hours of pure fucking amazing rant. They're working on a couple more documentary film type things. Go watch the stuff that they've done in the past. Obsolete was amazing. If you can find Batshittery at the DNC, that's amazing. I always say that Melissa and Andrew Drake are some of the best researchers on the freaking internet next to Whitney Webb. And, you know, we know who the good researchers are. And ironically, they got their start with Alex Jones many, many years ago. They haven't been with Jones in probably 10 years, but that's where they got their start. Along with Burmis. Burmis got his start with Jones, right?
I don't know. Everything feels just weird. Everything just feels weird to me right now. More than normal. I think everything feels weird probably all the time for the whole of my life. But now, in particular, let me just specify, I feel like everything has gotten weirder.
Weirder.
To an uncomfortable degree. I mean, we're in that liminal space now for sure. We still have a vague conception of what normal felt like, and we're grasping at that, but like we can't seem to get a hold on it now. We're just here now, and the train tracks are only going in the one direction, and that's it. So,
and I looked down at the hot dog, and there was a face on him.
And I think the censorship has a huge part to play in making everything feel really phony right now.
Yes, it does.
Because when everything is put into a bubble to support one narrative and all contradicting information and questions about that narrative are suppressed and silenced and black-holed and buried, it feels phony. It feels fake. It feels like it's being top-down enforced in a way that why would it need all of that if it can stand on the merits of itself? You see what I'm saying? If the argument that's being made or the story that's being told supports itself, then it shouldn't be concerned about a few little questions and a few criticisms. But when you silence and shut all that down, you make it feel phony. Even if it's not phony, even if everything that's being said is completely 100% true, it feels fake because that's what happens. And I think it's really weird too that we have people who work in the government and other organizations that are acting genuinely confused about the lack of faith and trust in these institutions following that situation. But once it comes out that you're doing that, trust is earned. You have to give people a reason to trust you. And it's like these people are confused. Like, I thought trust was just something we extracted from the public, like taxes. Sometimes it feels like I just don't know where we are anymore. We're in that weird middle space between whatever's coming and all the crap that just happened. And you can't go back, and we're not forward yet to whatever it is. I mean, we feel ourselves inching there, but we're just not quite there.
And she's absolutely right. We're trying to pretend that things are normal. We're trying to start our lives again and go back out. But honestly, how many of you guys just stay home? I have just stayed home. This is the most I've ever stayed home this last few years. And I just don't have any desire to go out and deal with the public anymore. And that's part of what they wanted by what has happened to us the last couple of years, I feel like. And even when I do go out and interact, people act so weird. Half of them want to still mask up. Half of them, are like F that. It's so weird. And they're they're crafting a new narrative that's coming at us, right? There's a new strain out there. Did you guys hear? Be scared, be scared. There's a new strain. And then, of course, there's other things out there that can come from us. Will we ever go back to what we thought was normal? Say what was normal in 2016? No. The Walking Dead was predictive programming. I agree with that. There's a lot of predictive programming out there. The Last of Us I've been watching, it kind of feels like that one is too. I don't know. We can't get enough of apocalyptic genre, though. I know I can't. Maybe, and I used to tell myself I'm watching this stuff to get pointers on how to survive. And really, watching this stuff over the years really it's made me realize that it's going to be communities. It's going to be communities that are going to have to rise up after the fall, any fall, right? You're going to have to work together. You're going to have skills in order to survive. Don't trust humans. I mean, that's the one thing I get from these shows is don't trust that group. Why are you going to hang out with that group? They're cannibals. I mean, that type of thing. Yeah. Welcome, Kenneth. So glad to have you. I brought you guys a couple of funnies, and both of these are fucking funny. So the first one is a Hunter Biden 2024, and the other one is the launch of SpaceX's rocket. So let's check it out.
I am solely on the Biden 2024 train. Not Joe, by the way. No. Hunter Biden. Hunter 2024. I don't know if you guys know this, but Hunter Biden is an Eastern European oil executive. He's also a Chinese financier. He is a North African land development manager. He is a world-class painter. And he has done all of this while high on cocaine banging hookers. Is not a presidential resume.
Okay, that one was funny. Check this one out. Come on, why won't you play? There we go.
So SpaceX launched their Starship rocket this week, which quickly disintegrated above the Earth like a frog in a blender, and Elon Musk called it a success. And I know science is all about trial and error, but that man had called anything a success. If that rocket would have shot up into the air, crashed through an orphanage, and then punctured a giant cock and ball shaped hole in the ozone layer, old Elon would be like, well, we're still in the testing phase. Come on. If 10 seconds of magic followed by a premature explosion is deemed a success, then my wife needs to seriously reevaluate my sexual prowess.
Those were both great freaking burns, weren't they? Yeah, the whole Elon rocket. Oh, we were just practicing, so it was a success. And Hunter Biden. Yeah, very presidential if you look at what he's done, right? Welcome, Lizzie's here. So is Zox. Zoxovoxovix, welcome. Hunter Biden 2024. I think that's hilarious. I really do. I'd be more likely to vote for Hunter Biden than Joe Biden. That's for sure. Let's see. This dropped this morning. A declassified document reveals that former Mexican President Jose Lopez Portillo has links with the CIA. So the PRI politician, now deceased, of course he's deceased, and who ruled the country from 1976 to 1982, collaborated with the U.S. agency at least until or before taking office, according to the files. Are we shocked? And of course he's dead, so yeah, it's okay that it comes out now. And let's see, California, she reported being abused by U.S. prison guards. Now she faces deportation. Crystal 31 was one of many to speak out against sexual violence in federal prisons, but at the end of her sentence was taken by ICE. So are we shocked that a whistleblower blowing the whistle on what's happening in our migrant prison system is being attacked? I'm not shocked at all. I've been to the border. I've been to these prisons where they're holding them, and I've heard the horror stories firsthand from the women who have lived it. And yeah, this is what we do. We punish the truth tellers. It doesn't matter. This one's funny. Boy, Katie Johnstone, man, she had no love for Tucker yesterday, right? Everybody's out there losing their shit, supporting Tucker. A lot of people probably shouldn't have been. Well, it wasn't Katie because she laid it out there. And it still stuns me that the global north is full of fully grown adults who sincerely believe Putin invaded Ukraine completely unprovoked, solely because he is evil and hates freedom, and that the U.S. is defending the Ukraine because it wants to protect freedom and democracy from tyrants. Yeah, that's funny. Go check her tweets out for after she went after Tucker. I mean, she's like, come on, you guys, are you kidding? And then, she's like, but. So Andrew Yang, of course, had to get in on this one. So Zelensky is what you hope your leaders will be. So yeah, Andrew Yang thinks Zelensky is what leaders should be. And he also says if anyone did their job as well as President Zelensky is doing the world would be an incredible place. Pentagon, hexagon, octagon, your money gone. Yeah, that about sums it up. Can you believe? I'm so sick of people thinking that Andrew Yang and the Forward Party is great. What in the fuck is that? What is that? He thinks Zelensky is the best politician in the world? But yeah, he's fighting the system, guys, in his forward-thinking party. Wake up before it's too late. Okay, Crone sent me this. Crone of Heresy sent me this the other night. Now, this is a really important clip. It's a Charlie Rose clip from a long time ago, but who's in it? Tell me who's in it, Crone. I don't know who this is. I'm sure some 3-letter agency asshole, but I don't recall. So please let me know who it is.
I'd give them the things that they need to both go after the Assad government, but also to have the Iranians and the Russians pay a little price, right? When we were in Iraq,
A little price.
The Iranians were giving weapons to the Shia militia who were killing American soldiers, right? The Iranians were making us pay a price. We need to make the Iranians pay a price in Syria. We need to make the Russians pay a price. The other thing I would do...
We make them pay the price by killing Russians?
Yes.
And killing Iranians?
Yes. Covertly.
Thank you, Crow.
So you don't tell the world about it, right? You don't stand up at the Pentagon and say, we did this, right? But you make sure they know it in Moscow and Tehran. Here's the other thing I want to do. I want to go after those things that Assad sees as his personal power base, right? I want to scare Assad. So I want to go after his presidential guard. I want to bomb his offices in the middle of the night.
Well, that happened about 2 years ago. As you remember, when his brother-in-law was...
So, yeah, that was us.
I want to destroy his presidential aircraft on the ground.
Yeah, that was
I want to destroy his presidential helicopters. I want to make him think we're coming after him, right? I'm not advocating assassinating him. I'm not advocating that. I'm advocating going after what he thinks is his power base, right, and what he needs to survive. I want him to think about this is not going to end well for me, right? I want to put pressure on him. I want to put pressure on the Iranians. I want to put pressure on the Russians to come to that diplomatic settlement.
Wow, that is a great clip, Crone. Thank you so much. And of course, that is Michael Morrell, former CIA director. I knew it was some CIA fucking asshat, but there's so many, right? I mean, they just switch them out for a new one when one gets called out for they're pushing a wanting all out freaking war and the shit they do. And I think that clip is very clear. We want to go after his guard. We want to go after his planes. We want to, and this is, I'm assuming, probably a 15-year-old clip, at least, maybe even a little longer. But I think they're pretty freaking clear, right? I mean, they really started messing with Syria in like 2014. So Yeah, they made it very clear what they want to do. Do you think that that's changed one bit? Fuck no. And that's exactly what they're doing in Ukraine. Proxy to go after Putin. That's exactly what it is. We've known that all along, but it doesn't look like it's working, right? Putin and Xi Jinping seem to be pretty good friends now. And yeah, a bunch of shit happened this week. Oh, I didn't bring that clip. I gotta go find that clip, you guys. This is so important. I don't even know how I forgot to bring it on to the deck. Let me go find it. YouTube, go to my save to BNB. Come on. Okay, here it is. Okay, let me back it up a little bit and move it over to the other screen. And then I will bring it in. My cat's hanging out. Hi, sweets. You say hi. See my baby girl, man. She follows me everywhere. My poor little baby. Okay. What is this called? Here we go. Listen to this shit, guys. This is a report that came down from WION, which of course we know is state affiliated media for India. Is that what it is? I don't know. Okay, I'm going to bring it in. Hopefully I found the cut just right. So.
And for more on this, our correspondent Susan Teherani asked the Russian foreign minister if it was time for the United Nations to leave New York, to which he replied saying, "I think it will be good." The question comes in the backdrop of a Russian report which claimed that Moscow wants to see United Nations headquarters moved to Geneva or Vienna.
Minister Lavrov, is it time for the UN to leave New York?
What's that?
Is it time for the UN to leave New York?
Susan also sent us this report from the United Nations headquarters on the latest United Nations Security Council meeting.
Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov chaired a high-level United Nations Security Council meeting here in New York on Monday. One of two meetings he'll be presiding over while in New York, as Russia has assumed the presidency of the Security Council for the month of April. The topic of this meeting was multilateralism. Lavrov, during his address, criticized the West, particularly the United States, which he said is, quote, aiming for the destruction of globalization. And
So, okay, they want to move, the Russians and others want to move the UN headquarters the fuck out of New York. What do you guys think of that? What do you think? Do you think that we've lost the UN? They're getting control over the UN. They only have control over it for a month, or are they just saying what they want to say? I don't know. You tell me. I saw that and I was like, ooh, that can't be good. That cannot be good at all for us. Let's see. I got one more that's hanging out tab wise. I think Julie sent me this one. Let's watch this one too. This is a robot that can't handle anymore. Can't hang. Let's see. Yeah. Make it bigger. How do you make it bigger on Rumble? I don't know. Okay, let's bring this one in. Watch this. This is a robot that can't hack it no more. Come on. Why won't you play? Oh, Rumble won't let me play RT. Is that what's going on here, guys? Come on. Wow. Rumble's not letting me play RT. What in the hell? Come on. Maybe it's my internet. I don't know. Sometimes my internet just glitches out. Come on. Okay, forget it. I guess I won't show you that clip. Jilly, share that clip out on Twitter, and I'll share it out too. It's so funny. It's like an assembly line with the robot, and the robot's just going, and then all of a sudden the robot just goes and collapses. Then it didn't even make it 2 hours or some shit. That was a funny clip, Jilly. Maybe I'll rip it and bring it on Saturday, because I thought it was funny. And then I saw a video today of a woman in China who had a bat, and she was beating the crap out of one of those patient bots, where you got to go deal with a robot to sign in. She was not having it at all. Let's see. Okay, so we did that one. This is pretty gross too. So if the new WHO pandemic treaty is signed, a veterinarian, a software oligarch, and the president of China will dictate your country's pandemic response with absolute authority. If they decide everyone in your country must be jabbed, then everyone must be jabbed, regardless of your country's laws, individual protections, or sovereignty, which they left off of there. So stop the treaty. We've been screaming about this treaty for close to a year now. Of course, Amber King brought it to us as soon as it dropped. She's done some good deep dives into it. Brave New Future. And this is scary. This is absolutely scary. This is one of the things, along with the Resist Act, that we have absolutely got to put our foot down and say, no fucking more, guys. No more. Okay, so this next story I've covered for a while. You know, I have been talking about the Bam Margera story, and people are like, why? Why do you care about Jackass or anybody that was on that stupid show? Well, because it goes to a much bigger story that I've been talking about on To Hell and Back, and that is the Florida Shuffle. Now, if you don't know what the Florida Shuffle is a judge sentencing you or ordering you into a drug and alcohol rehabilitation center on your dime. They're not paying for it. They order you to go and they'll pay for it. And they can lock you in there for as long as 90 days, 180 days, even a fucking year. And Bam Margera is now the official most Florida shuffled person in our history. And what that means is he has been repeatedly flipped and sent to rehab 12 times in the last 3 years. Now, this is a crazy story. BJ Investigates, an amazing channel on YouTube. She just got her start. She went to school to be an attorney, saw how corrupt the fucking our judicial system is, said, whoa, maybe I better do something else. And she went into investigative journalism. She saw this because she was a part of the Britney Spears movement. Ultimately, this is about your freedom and your, them being able to control where you go, what you do. So basically what happened is Jackass 5 was getting ready to film. And this was pre-pandemic, right? So Bam has had a history of drug abuse. And so they wrote a very stringent wellness contract with him, the producers of Jackass 5. If you're going to come on board, these are all the criteria you got to meet. You got to blow into a blow and go wherever you are 3 times a day. So we know there's no alcohol in your system. Anytime this pager goes off, you got to go take a drug and alcohol test. And he signed on. Okay, we're supposed to start filming in a month. Yeah, I can do this. Well, then the pandemic hit and they pushed it down the road. They kept, we'll start a month. We'll start in 3 months. So this whole time, Bam is jumping through their production hoops. He's having to stay clean. He can't take this. He has to take the medications that the studio tells him he has to take. So he's on a shit ton of pharmaceuticals that make him feel terrible, make him gain weight, make him lose weight, he lost his sexual function. So many things, right? Anybody who has been on a handful of pharmaceuticals knows just how bad it messes you up. And I am here to attest. And so basically, the producers and his family came together after 2 years of COVID. They still haven't started filming, and they go, Bam, you need to go to rehab. And so they team up with this woman who I've done pretty good in reporting about, Alima Abramovich, who is over on the Soft White Underbelly channel, along with Mark Leahy. If you don't know who that is, I don't know. He exploits people who are down on their luck, people who are addicts, people who are sex workers, just to get his channel views. That's the way I feel about it. In the beginning, I thought that Leahy was doing a great work. Look at him platforming these people. But when you get behind the scenes and you realize, he's making a lot of money on the channel. The people that he interviews aren't getting any money. And then he teams up with this woman, Lima, to have another woman locked up in treatment to have VR alcohol and drug treatment. Now, I have done a deep dive on this. Maybe I'll pull it up. Maybe we'll go back into it. Like I said, BJ Investigates has done a good job on this. So anyways, BJ has been investigating this, calling it out for like year and a half, because every couple of months we get a TMZ video of Bam escaping one of these rehab facilities and the cops dragging his ass back in. I mean, they have messed him up too. They've broken his fingers. Like, they have messed him up over the years, dragging him back into rehab. So Bam is officially out, because what happened was one of the districts that was Florida shuffled him 9 times. 9 times. The same judge shuffled him 9 times. And then he got moved to a different district. because they couldn't do it. His handlers, and that's what we call Bramovich, his handler, went to a different court and filed in a different county. So it started all over again. And he got like another 3 more. Are you being a troublemaker? He got like another 3 more shuffles after he got moved into the new district. So this man has been put into 12 different freaking rehab facilities at his own expense, And then he gets out, and he by no means is sober. I will tell you this, he is no means sober at all right now. But when you're being forced and told, it's not exactly your own choice, right? And we all know addiction, you have to do it for yourself. You can't do it for anybody else. It doesn't work. And so he shows up on her doorstep on Monday or Sunday. Now, there has been people like Steve-O attacking BJ and the BAM movement, free BAM movement, saying you guys are crazy. You don't know what's going on. We're trying to save his life, and you guys are working against us. And we're like, hey, personal liberties, freedom. He has the choice to be a drunken nightmare if he wants to. We've got, millions of people out there that are this same exact way, and we're not locking them up. Why are you locking him up? Because his ass makes you money. That's why. That is exactly why. The family wants him clean because he's the major breadwinner for the family. And the studios want him clean because, hey, he's one of the best parts of Jackass that everybody tunes into. So, she has done an amazing job. She has been torn down. BJ has been torn down for her investigate. And when I tell you she investigates, she's got the receipts. She goes, she gets the court documents. She gets the video footage. She has got files and files and files. So BAM shows up kind of drunk at her house on Sunday and says, I've never heard of you. I've never known about the free BAM movement. I want to talk to you. And she's like, okay. I mean, she freaks out like I would have. I got 2 hours to figure this out. I got BAM in my house. He wants to talk to me about all of the investigation I've done over the last year and a half. So she sits down with him. And this video dropped yesterday afternoon. And I just brought you a little clip of it. You guys can go check out BJ Investigates. She's got a great channel. She's got a couple of different channels. So make sure you go check her out. But listen to this.
Starbucks with my buddy. I was like, I can't believe this. And I went to the beach. I was like, the beach. Like, I've been locked up. So.
What happened when you would try to leave?
When I would try to leave? Mm-hmm. Well, then I get Baker acted again.
Mm-hmm. So it was all in Florida this was happening.
Yeah, it's called the Florida Shuffle.
So let's rewind a little bit.
And I am the definition of the Florida Shuffle because the judge said they've never seen anybody get shuffled this hard. I got shuffled 11 times, 90 days, 90 days, 90 days, 90 days.
And what would happen right toward the end of your
$1,300 every night.
$1,300 a day is what he was paying. And it was 11 times. I misspoke. 11 times that he was reshuffled, and he would get sent to these new, and he has to pay for everything. He's paying for the legal fees. When they file against him, he has to pay. His family is attorneys. He has to pay. He pays for everything. He is paying for everything, and they just lock him up. I get their want to get him sober. I know I've been in the same exact predicament. I've sat in front of a judge and begged them, keep my child in jail because I'm afraid if you let him out, they're going to die. And, there's nothing harder for a mother to do in the frickin' world. So I understand April's hurt on this and the families, but he's a grown ass man. He is the breadwinner. And if he wants to destroy his life, that is our God-given right as Americans, right? And so I watched that interview yesterday, and yeah, he's over the top and he is definitely, he's got some problems, but I immediately hear a report like 20 minutes later that BAM went and assaulted one of his family members at his house and is on the run, and the cops are looking for him. Well, watching that video or that interview, and I guess there's 2 more parts to that interview. Hopefully they'll drop today or the next day, where he's talking a lot of crap about his brother and how angry he is that his own family did this to him. And apparently looking at the files that BJ had must have riled him up, because it looks like he immediately went home and lost his crap on his family, and now he's on the run. So here is the report about him being on the run.
A developing story involving former Jackass star Bam Margera, who's now wanted by Pennsylvania authorities after an alleged altercation with his brother Jess Margera, the drummer of CKY. Authorities have issued an arrest warrant for Bam as a result of the incident. The Pennsylvania State Police are currently looking for Bam Margera after they responded to a reported disturbance Sunday morning near Pocopson Township. The incident resulted in the alleged victim, said to be Jess Margera, Bam's brother, being involved in a physical confrontation. TMZ has obtained the report, which provides a shocking account of the events that transpired. According to the report, Margera allegedly began banging on his brother's bedroom door around 8 a.m. and left behind an ominous note threatening Jess if he contacted the police. According to the report, the situation escalated when Jess found Margera urinating in the kitchen sink, leading to a fight between the brothers. Jess claims Margera hit him multiple times in the head, and the police report notes visible injuries. Following the brawl, Jess alleges that Margera threatened to kill him and everyone in the house, including their father Phil and 2 other women. After making the threats, Margera reportedly fled into the woods behind the house. Police searched for him but were unable to locate him. Now, a warrant has been issued for his arrest, and authorities are asking the public for any information on his whereabouts. The charges Bam faces include 4 counts of terroristic threats with the intent to terrorize another, 1 count of simple assault, and 1 count of harassment while subjecting another to physical assault. Although the charges are misdemeanors, they are still considered serious. The CKY drummer Jess Margera thanked fans for the support and the concern on Twitter and gave an account of the incident. He said, "Hey, thanks for all the comments, everyone. I'm fine. All good, no big whoop. He threw some punches at me, which I blocked. He got a good one on my ear, though. It's still ringing, actually. Same old shit. It's just boring at this point, sadly. I just want him to get help. It's about 20 years overdue." He added, "It's the constant death threats against my parents and other family members that I'm not going to just sit there and tolerate. He has been up for about a week at this point and is hallucinating. He is a danger to himself and anyone around him, and that is unacceptable." Bam has been struggling with substance abuse issues in recent years. This is a developing story, and we will let you know as we learn more.
Now, I've had many family members that get to this point where they have been up for 5 days. They are hallucinating. They won't go to sleep. Just when you think they're down, they're back up, but ordering them to live in a rehab for 2 years and making them pay for it, all they've done is make Bam angry, right? I mean, all they've done is just instill all of this anger in him. I don't see a good outcome for this story. I've never seen a good outcome for this story, and I'm going to keep an eye on it because it's terrible that in this country, if you make money for people, then they can do this to you. Florida shuffled him so that way, Jackass could make money, hopefully, is what they were trying to do. Of course, I reported to you a couple of weeks ago that he has challenged, double dog dared Johnny Knoxville to a bare knuckle fight. And that just goes to show his anger. So please go check out BJ Investigates. She did a really good deep dive into the Pussycat Dolls and how they were trafficked. That one's kind of a shocking story. And that was a multi-channel collaboration where I think 3 other channels came in with her and they all took aspects of the story and investigated it. Great way to do it, because when some of these stories, I mean, like this Bam story, you probably have got 15 hours worth of information and content to try to get out there when you break the whole case down. So when you break it into multiple channels, each channel can kind of take a topic and run with it. Great idea. I think it's so smart. So great investigating going on over there. Let's see. Big Pharma Joe won't ever legalize. Where presidential candidate Joe Biden stands on marijuana. I still believe it's a gateway drug, and I spent a lot of my life as the chairman of the Judicial Committee dealing with this. I think it would be a mistake to legalize it. What did Hunter tell you that? And me before I go to Walmart, definitely. Yeah, I can't go to Walmart sober. I just can't do it, man. I'm a much calmer person if I go in there happy. This is a cute little. It's not cute. It's terrible, but it's a mock-up of Macron. Talking about how fair and decent he is, while the video in the background is his stormtroopers beating the crap out of the French people.
Nous dit la vague de libération de la parole à laquelle nous assistons depuis 2 mois et qui ne faiblit pas. Que c'est notre société tout entière qui est malade du sexisme, que des représentations se sont installées et donc que pour lutter contre cet état de la société, il faut agir avant qu'il ne soit trop tard, avant que nos enfants aient été éduqués selon des stéréotypes et des clichés qui, par les rôles qu'ils auront
Look at that. My God, such excess force.
produisent
Look at they
ensuite
knocked that woman down.
des inégalités entre les filles et les garçons, entre les femmes et les hommes. Lutter contre les violences faites aux femmes, c'est aussi et avant tout mener ce combat culturel visant à diffuser la culture de l'égalité. Parce que c'est ce combat qui nous concerne tous. Garçons, filles, femmes, hommes, enfants, parents, qui permettra de changer en profondeur les mentalités. Et c'est donc à dessein que je souhaite porter une politique affirmée de prévention des violences faites aux femmes qui mobilisera à ce titre plusieurs leviers. L'éducation, vous en avez parlé, Monsieur le Ministre.
That's just sick. That's just, and you don't need to know what he's saying because you know whatever he's saying is freaking a lie and bullshit, right? While he does that to his people. You know, the same thing's happening here. Everybody thinks that this is because of the retirement age in France. And yeah, that's part of it. But mostly the part of it is that BlackRock has bought up all of the real estate and they know that since COVID, people aren't going to brick and mortar buildings anymore, and they got a shit ton of properties that they're going to lose money on. So they need that extra pension money to compensate. And we did the same thing here in America. Vanguard and BlackRock bought up all of our shit too. And they're coming for your pensions. I know Amber and I have been telling you this for years now. What do you have left? You have the equity in your home and you have your pension. That's all they have to come after now. And that's what they're after. We've been saying it. And this is just a reminder of how terrible Hillary Clinton is. So my name is Kathy Shelton. When I was 12 years old, I was brutally R-worded by a man, which put me in a coma for 5 days and destroyed my fertility. His lawyer accused me of seeking older men and laughed at me in the courtroom, saving my heiress from jail. His lawyer's name was Hillary Clinton. Yes, this is a story we've told for a long time. And this is Hillary introducing you to her friend George Soros and telling you how important it is that he takes over electoral politics. If you think it's a conspiracy theory, well, this is right out of the horse's mouth.
Not enough for America's future that some participate and others don't. We have been given an extraordinary blessing. And at this moment in time, our country needs us. And we need people like George Soros, who is fearless and willing to step up when it counts. So please join me in welcoming George Soros.
It is the first time that I feel that I need to stand up and do something really and become really engaged in the electoral process in this country.
Well, that was fast. I looked away and it cut away. Yeah, not a conspiracy, guys. George Soros is one of the puppet string pullers of the Democratic Party. We've been telling you this, but anybody who brings up Soros, oh, you're just a crazy conspiracy theorist. When you've been on the ground and you've dealt with Soros's money firsthand, it's not a conspiracy. Oh, shush. This is great, guys. This clip I brought, this next clip. This is Brevard County Commissioners meeting from 4/4/23. Now, of course, I'm pretty sure that this is going to make you laugh. So here, let's check it out.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Today, I'd like to bring to your attention a potential fraud on an enormous scale happening in your county. There's now clear evidence of NASA using numerous methods to grossly mislead the public about astronauts being on the International Space Station. During interior ISS scenes from NASA's own live feed, the use of wires, harnesses, green screens, and virtual reality have been detected to achieve the appearance of a weightless environment. Examples of this include astronauts fading in and out of the screen, green screen glitches, grabbing objects that aren't really there, pulling on invisible wires, getting tangled in their harnesses, and even astronauts appearing out of thin air. This begs the obvious question. If they're really up there, why are they using Hollywood techniques to fake the footage? Now, unfortunately, I can't show you these clips in here today, but I will be sending them to you. Outside the International Space Station, during spacewalks, air bubbles have been recorded on numerous occasions. How is it possible for air bubbles to be present in the vacuum of space? I once questioned astronaut Scott Kelly about this phenomenon. His body language and answers only created more questions. In 2013, astronaut Luca Parmitano nearly drowned during a spacewalk when his helmet filled with water. This happened again just last year. Air bubbles, helmets filling with water, and drowning. Are they in space or are they underwater? Now, what's really interesting is that they train for spacewalks in an underwater pool with a complete ISS replica. Now, surely they aren't filming these spacewalks in an underwater pool and then editing them to appear if they're in space, because that sure would be something, wouldn't it? I'm calling on the Brevard County Commissioners to open a full investigation into NASA's fraudulent practices and use of taxpayer dollars. It costs NASA $3 billion per year to operate the ISS, and if they don't have a darn good explanation as to why they're faking these videos, I and the public would like a darn good explanation as to where our tax money is going. And if they are indeed faking the funk, it is our duty to expose and eliminate this fraudulent and astronomically wasteful ISS program. And look, I know what you're all thinking. The NASA is part of the federal government, and you're just county commissioners. Even if what I'm saying is true, what can you do? But let me remind you, not only is this happening in your county, as public officials, you have the platform and the ability to make a statement or hold a press conference, alerting the public, state, and federal authorities to investigate further. You have the power to start the conversation. Video evidence of everything I described today will be emailed to you all, and I truly hope we can get to the bottom of this. I look forward to the day that $3 billion annual budget is put towards our veterans, our homeless, maybe some of that mental health stuff the young lady just spoke about, and the revitalization of Brevard County.
Going local. You know, they say if you can't fight the Fed, go local. And will this guy, it seemed like maybe there was one, probably a Republican, maybe a libertarian leaning, that was like leaning forward, listening. These are good questions. We've known this about ISS for a while now. Like, what the hell? What is up with the harnesses? What's up with the glitching? We've seen it. We've known it's happening in real time. And I'm kind of glad to see somebody at least bringing it up. I mean, maybe they don't have the power, but it is their county, right? That they're stationed in. So they have the right to ask questions as the county commissioners of this federal agency. But we know these feds are never audited. They're never questioned, right? They just do what they want. And whether you believe the moon landing was real or not, the question is still, what the fuck is in Antarctica? Yeah, what is in Antarctica, guys? Depends on who you believe, right? Good morning, writer. Good afternoon, whatever time of day it is in your neck of the woods, Red Cloud. Yeah, what's in Antarctica? Well, it could be Nazi bases. It could be aliens. I brought you a report last week that said China's got a shit ton of bases down there, but we know the U.S. does too. And a lot of times it doesn't even show up on maps, right? I don't know if it's on Google Maps or not, but a lot of people say that it's just not even there when you go to look. So crazy. So kudos, doing it at the local level. At least he's bringing something to talk about. Now this one made me sad and mad when I saw it, because God damn it, this is what our money should be going to. It should not be going to proxy wars to kill Russians, but this is what we're doing instead. So look at what the Chinese have that we don't. This is their fancy new speed rail. Look at how comfy this thing is. Yeah, but you can't have nice things because we need war. War. And you need to quit driving, even though we're not talking about alternative sources like, I don't know, high-speed rail. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting that other countries are so far advanced than us. We used to have pride in it, and we don't any longer. Fat Americans wouldn't fit in those seats. Great point, Dingo. Great point. Yeah. They would just use all that NASA stuff. It's almost like a cry for help. They're tired of living a lie. Be brave, NASA. Fess up. I feel better when it's all, yeah, the truth will set you free, right? For sure. I don't know. I think maybe NASA's been rooted in lies for so long that I don't think they could ever come out of it, you know? I really think it would take an alien invasion for them to be like, "Oh, okay, well, we don't really have any of that shit. That was just, a Hollywood set." But speaking of Hollywood sets, I had to remind you guys how much of a piece of shit Tarantino is. And of course, we all know he has a foot fetish, if you're paying attention. Reminder, the Tarantino wrote a scene in Dusk Till Dawn where Selma Hayek poured tequila down her leg and forced a guy to drink it by sucking her toes and then cast himself in the role. That's exactly what he did. Yeah, he's got a crazy foot thing. Now that you know it, you'll see it in all the Tarantino movies. So just a reminder, he's not to mention he's the big Z word, Zion. Yeah, probably not allowed to say that on YouTube, and it is YouTube Tuesday, so I'm trying to behave as best as I can, but there's no guarantees. We take one more strike over on Beauty and the Boomer, we're done. And we've worked so hard to get that channel monetized, and so I'm trying to behave. But they went back and got me for something last September, so you never know. You just never know. You and me, I wish we could create a better society that wasn't inherently soul crushing. Best I can do is pills that trick your brain into thinking you don't hate it here. Yeah, that's the best they can do, and that's all they can do. And let's see, people who leave parties without saying goodbye save up to 2 days per year, reports indicate. I want to know who's going to that many parties that they are saving 2 days by not saying goodbye. That's just crazy to me. Okay, guys, we are almost out of here. I got one more. Of course, this is Assange. Please write Assange. There's the address. Just go ahead and click the screenshot right now and just write him a postcard. Send him a postcard from wherever you're at. Just grab a postcard from the Five and Dime, whatever, anything. He loves to hear from us. I know it. I know it's got to make his day. So Assange has been waiting for 6 months for the court of the people to decide whether to approve his appeal on 2 issues, namely the issue of whether his extradition to America is barred by virtue of the rule against extraditing people for political reasons, or secondly, whether it is barred because it is an incursion of freedom of speech under Article 10 of the European Convention. Now, I've never known a case to take as long to get to the decision from the Court of Appeals, but it does put Julian Assange in kind of a limbo, which he should have never been in because there are strong arguments for both grounds. Yes, exactly. Why is Assange waiting months and months and months longer than most people when they go through the appeal process? And we know that is from the American influence saying, no, you're going to give them to us, right? So just sad. It's just, it's just so sad that he's not getting any due process. And if you think for one fucking second that they extradite his butt over here, that he's going to get due process and justice will work its magic, we all know our judicial system is just as captured as every other branch in this country. So let's write Assange, guys. Let's keep fighting for Assange. I think I am out of here, guys. I want to thank Pittsburgh Dude 87 for joining us. Kenneth Cohen, thank you so much. Of course, Jilly Love, Go Start. Dingo ate me, baby. Red Cloud is 8 p.m. there. Oh my gosh. Well, it's morning here. I forget. I live in my own little bubble. Like everybody's in my time zone. I will get past that. I promise. Make sure I don't miss anybody. It's Cold Fusion's been hanging out, holding down the chat for me. Thank you. 3-Chord Grifter, so glad to see you. Snow Leopard, hi Snow Leopard. I see you. You stepped in for a second. Marby Dog, hi Marby. Hi Marby. Of course, DC and everybody I shouted out earlier. Let's see. Dirty Dollars. And the Rockfins, Oxo Voxo Vix is hanging out over there. Of course, Jim, happy birthday. I hope you have an amazing day that is full of peace, joy, and family, because those are the best things that you can get in this life. And Abram, hi Abram, hi Abram, glad to see you. And of course, everybody else over there. Thank you guys so much for sending me clips, Jilly. I hate Andrew Yang. I know, me too for sure. Yeah. Oh, come on. Wrong one. And let's see. Today is Tuesday. I don't know who's on. Of course, Aaron Mate had Jimmy Dore on the Jimmy Dore show. If you guys didn't watch that yesterday, that was kind of amusing. And what do we got for this week? I don't have any specials this week, but I am on my normal schedule. So I will be back Thursday morning with Mr. Craig Pasajardula for To Hell and Back. Same bat time, same bat channel. And then, of course, Friday will be uncensored. Fridays, we don't go on YouTube, guys, because I got to have one day where I can bring you guys stuff that's not going to get me in trouble because I come across so much of it. So join me Friday mornings if you want uncensored Trailer Park. And let's see, Course Beauty and the Boomer on Saturday. We are back and going strong again. Oz is getting there. He's recovering. He wrote a good bit of today's show for me. So thank you, Oz, in the land of Oz out there. And I got a great closer for you guys. This is an amazing cover of Aerials by System of the Down. I think you guys are going to like it because it's kind of acoustic. And I just thought it was great. I will see all of you guys Thursday. Have a great rest of your day. And yeah, don't let the man get you down, man.
Life is a waterfall. We want in the river, water get up and fall. Swimming through the void, we hear the world. We lose ourselves, we find it all. 'Cause we are the ones that wanna play. Always wanna go, but you never wanna stay. And we are the ones that wanna choose. Always wanna play, but you never wanna lose. Areas in the sky. When you lose more, you free your life. Life is a water. When you lose more money, you free your life. Areas so abide. When you free your eyes, it's an uprise.